Tonight I just wanted to just wrap up our discussion about annotation and active reading, and then I wanted to go into the assignments, that I wanted to give to you since I'm such a nice guy. Right? Yeah, man, giving, sharing is caring. Okay, just okay, here we go. I was uploading something to D2. Actually, it's still uploading. Give me 1 second before I go into screen share. While we're waiting, all right. Hopefully you had a chance to pick up Born a Crime. I asked you guys to get it by the end of this week, and end of this week is here. You guys have a reading assignment over the weekend, and I know the calendar says pages 1 to 35, but that's not quite accurate. It's actually page 32 or 31, really. But then I just had 35 in my head because that's when the next chapter begins. All right. So if you have not started reading, okay, get started. All right. And then while I'm waiting for this thing to upload here, as I was saying Tuesday, right? Make sure when you're reading, right, you're employing these active reading strategies. Taking notes in your book. All right. And even if you can't read what my notes say, some of these are question marks. Some of those are just like a system of symbols. But again, just make sure you are taking notes in your book because it's don't treat it as busy work or something that your instructor is making you do. Look at it as it's just an exercise that's going to help you. And annotation is one of those translatable skills that are really one of those foundational skills that you're going to use in pretty much every class in college. All right, so make sure you practice. Okay, and something I said Tuesday as well. It may take you a few go rounds to get your system of annotation or get a system of annotation that works for you. All right, one that you're comfortable with. In fact, it's taking extraordinarily long. I just have a quick video that I want to show you all. See if I can get the audio right the first time. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes, I do want to share my computer side. I don't want that. Okay. This is just a video from the perspective of a student. And I like this one just because this student, did a little bit of trial and error as, they discovered their way of annotation. Okay. Get your popcorn.
Hey guys! Ever since I mentioned it in a previous video, a ton of you wanted to know how I annotate books. I am currently enrolled in AP English Literature, and for that class I have to read a ton of books, and we've already gone through 3 separate novels, so I've kind of had time to fine-tune my system and see what really works for me while I annotate. For those who don't know, annotating is just when you're reading a novel or an article or any short story or anything like that, and you're just adding in your own comments and notes in the margins of that text. It's just supposed to sort of enhance the experience as you read. If your teacher has a specific system or guidelines that they want you to follow for annotating, definitely make sure you follow those first. My English teacher doesn't really have a specific system that we should follow. She just wants us to annotate, period. Annotating is a great way to actively read, and it really helps you avoid passively staring at a novel as you read past each page, and you don't really absorb as much as you would if you did annotate, just because annotating really opens up a conversation with the text. You're able to comment, jot down all of your thoughts, ideas, keep track of themes, really anything you choose to do as you read, and it's just a better way to read, especially for a literature-heavy class. So when I first started annotating The Secret History, which was the first book I was assigned to annotate, I decided to try to use another person's system because I just really didn't know where to start at all. And I made these two little flip outs using scrapbook paper and washi tape just to remind myself of what I was looking for, just to get used to it. And so I decided that for the left margins, I would use those for comments, questions, arguments, and connections, and the right margins to summarize any interesting things, quotable phrases, adding like diction, syntax, figurative language, things like that. And I also wrote down any themes I wanted to keep track of as well. And for the inside cover at the front, I also decided to put in a bunch of sticky notes of like vocabulary words I wanted to look up, major plot points, when characters were introduced, and things like that. I found this system worked pretty well for me, but it was very, very detail oriented and took a lot of time to complete efficiently, and so I decided to try to simplify my system the next time I read a book. For the next book I read, which was The Kite Runner, I decided to really solidify my color coding system with my highlighters. So pink stands for literary devices or figurative language, yellow stands for plot points, green stands for character development, and blue stands for thematic ideas, motifs, and symbols. In these longer novels, I found it was really, really useful to add a little summary of the plot for each chapter, and also writing a little dialectical, just a couple sentences about certain literary devices that stuck out to me during each chapter, because I think that really helped me keep track of the development of certain themes throughout the book, and that became really, really useful for class discussions and Socratic seminars that we'd have later on. I think that annotating has really shown me how much I can get out of reading literature, because I just write down like my thoughts as I read, whether it's just like a smiley face or, just a direct reaction to something that happened in the book, or even just like commenting on a certain theme or thing that I find reoccurring throughout the novel. And I found that I just got more out of the book than I would if I didn't annotate. So I would definitely recommend trying to annotate literature, even if you aren't required to do so. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs.
Mm-mm. So, couple things in that video. All right. One, as I was saying before, that student, it took them multiple times to it took them multiple times to find the system that worked for them. And you may have to go through that same process, all right, in order to find one that works for you. And if your system slows you down, slows your reading down, that can be a good thing, because you don't get points for speed. So you may as well slow down and read in a way that's going to help you retain. That's going to help you retain the material. All right. So that's really what I want you all to practice. As you're reading your text for this weekend. Another point that the student in the video made was, she just wrote down her thoughts, as she was reading. And one thing I like that she said, sometimes it's a happy face, right? And for me, sometimes it's just an exclamation point or some other symbol. So, you may develop like a system of symbols, that works for you, when you annotate your own book. So just just try, right? And see the results that you get. And like I was saying before, it is an across the board skill that you're going to use in most of your classes. So that video, all right, is about to be posted in our on our D2L page. All right, I just got to swap it over from my other class real quick. And once I get this uploaded, I just want to show you what's going to accompany the reading. All right, I couldn't let you off the hook that easily. Just a few assignments that I want to cover. Sorry for this awkward silence. Okay. And okay, let me switch over to student view real quick, and then I'll start sharing. In addition to the reading, good people. All right. There are several things that I want you all to do before Tuesday, or before the start of class Tuesday, I should say. I'm right now in the week 2 module, which I'm not sharing with you. There we go. Okay. Right now, I'm in the week 2 module on our D2L page. All right. And some of this stuff is just like supplemental material that I've added. Here are the slides that we covered this week. And here's a PDF that just really reinforces those slides so you can go over that. And I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom here. Oh, here's the video we just watched. I'm going to move that up once I go back into teacher view. All right, now the quiz, our second quiz. All right, first one was how to be a successful student. Second one is active reading. It is right in the week 2 module. And the quiz, this quiz, is based on these slides. Okay, again, this quiz based on these slides. All right, the active reading quiz is based on the active reading slides. All right, and you just take it the same way you took the other one. All right, boom, start quiz. I think I only have one chance. I can open it up to give multiple chances. What are some benefits of reading? Blah 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 blah. Okay, and then once you have your answers, hit submit. All right, I failed obviously because I only answered one question, but just hit submit. All right, so do the quiz. All right. How did I prepare for this quiz, Professor Norwood? You can have a look at these slides. Okay. Now, that is one thing. Actually, we're up to 2 things that you're being assigned. One is to read pages 1 through 31, or if you're using a digital version, like a Kindle version or something of that nature, you're just going to read the first 2 chapters, and you're going to stop at Trevor Pray, which is chapter 3. So you're reading the first 2 chapters. You're reading and annotating the first 2 chapters of our text. And now, part of reading actively, read the inside cover. Okay, read the back cover. Read what people are saying about this book. All right. If you go down on our D2L page, check out this apartheid module. All right. Check out some of these videos. Why? Because I think you don't have to become an expert, on the apartheid period in South Africa, but I think just having a little prior knowledge, can assist you in your understanding of the text. And it's just good to it's good to be versed in these things. All right. And it's the same thing. If you want to know a little bit about our author, okay, check the Trevor Noah module all the way at the bottom. I just have his wiki and his official website up and daily show stuff. But check that out so you know a little bit about the author, because as we stated earlier this week, active reading begins before you start reading. Okay. A lot of times I will ask students, to look at the title, the full title, like the title and the subtitle, Born a Crime, Stories of a South African Childhood. And even before we start reading, we start thinking about, okay, what are our expectations based on this title? All right. And I think, even though we're not, going to do that as a collective, you can start, doing that, just on your own. All right. So know your book, know your book, know your book, know your book. So read, annotate, take the quiz. That's two things. Okay, here's the main thing I wanted to cover tonight. All right, reading questions. Okay. When I get my teacher privileges back in a second, when I exit student mode, I'm gonna just move some of this stuff around so it'll be I want it in a specific order. Okay, here's your first assignment. Actually, yeah, this is your first assignment that involves writing, that you're gonna do on your own. Okay, now, let me go back. I just clicked on reading questions. Okay, and here are the questions, but if you want to download them to your computer, you can either go here, or maybe not. I forgot that's how it looks for you guys. Here they are right here. You can just click this and it gives it to you as a Word document. All right, but it's identical to what's in here. All right, but I'm just gonna open these questions. Okay. Starting this week, there will be a series of these every week. Okay, until we finish the book. So I think we have like 6 of these throughout the semester, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Reading questions aren't busy work. In fact, nothing I give you is busy work, meaning just to keep you occupied. It's not a race. You don't have to be the first one done or the first one to submit yours. In fact, I would rather you spend time, doing these instead of just trying to get done as quickly as possible. All right. And as I said before, the goal of doing these reading questions is just getting you in that practice of discussing this book, in writing. All right. And, it's also good writing practice. Okay. We can practice our sentence structure. Even though we haven't had that discussion yet, we can practice, using details to develop our ideas. All right. So there's a few of these, and then there's some vocabulary words at the bottom. Vocabulary words, you can just get those right from the dictionary. All right. Or the Google. All right. Please respond to the questions below using complete sentences. All right. I'm actually going to open, I'm going to get mine. I like this one better. Okay. But the first thing in the response, the first sentence in the directions, please respond to the questions below using complete sentences. Okay. To the best of your ability. I know we haven't had that discussion yet. Okay, so that's the first thing. Be sure to put your time into your responses and develop your answers fully. What does that mean? Developing your answers means using specific details from the text. Doesn't mean copying from the book. It just means using specific details from the text. Okay, and it also, when you see words like discuss or when you see words like explain, all right, that means you got to go beyond a one sentence answer or one word answer. All right. So put your time and your effort into these things. Use this exercise to practice discussing our text and writing. Work on using your own words. Do not copy straight from the book. Copying your answers from the book does not help you. Okay. Beyond the fact that it's plagiarism, you're not really working on a skill when you do that, or you're not really thinking critically about the material when you do that. So don't copy right from the book. Okay. And then finally, proofread. Okay, proofread your responses. Before we get off this, or before we end this session, I will give you some strategies for proofreading. Okay, now here's the questions. Okay, and some of these are like, what do you think questions, and then some of them are really specific, like this one, right? Trevor Noah opens Born a Crime, and this is first page stuff, spoiler alert. All right. Trevor Noah opens Born a Crime with the Immorality Act of 1927, which banned sexual intercourse between unmarried white people and black people. What was your initial response to this passage? So what I'm asking is, when you first read that, what was going through your mind? Okay, what was going through your mind? Don't just say that was messed up, or oh, I think that's really unfair, or I think that's great. All right, don't say anything like that. Develop your answer. If you thought like, man, that was unfair, why? Okay, flesh it out. Give your reader some more insight. All right, so really think about your responses. Okay, now here we go. Here we go. Okay, if we go back to week 2, okay, we got this thing right here. Reading questions instructions. Read these before you do your reading questions, please. It'll save us a lot of time. Okay. This document's also in the week 2 module. 1060 questions are designed to get you in the practice of discussing. I already said that. Use this exercise to engage the text and enhance your comprehension. See the tips below. Here's the first tip. Okay, and you can do this right now if you want to. If you have your if you're following along on a key or the computer or some kind of device with the keyboard. Okay, and what I'm about to do now is just get my paper ready using proper MLA format, right? But you're going to spell your own name right, not like me. Okay, name, instructor's name, class. Okay, and then the date. What's today? I don't know. There you go. Thank you, Microsoft. Okay, now I'm about to throw my page number up here. I'm going insert. Then I'm going page number, top of page, plain number 3. All right, then I'm going to type in my last name. Okay, and then just because I like everything looking nice and uniform, I'm going to switch that to 12 or to Times New Roman as well. And then you can just click anywhere down here to exit out of that. All right, now, once I got my proper heading up, okay, I'm just going to call these reading questions, I don't know, yeah, 1 through 31. Okay, or you can just call it reading questions 1 because it is our first one. Now, get that back to the left, and you can save this because when you actually have to do your reading questions or when you want to get started, your document is already formatted properly. So you don't have to worry about that step. All right. You can just save this anywhere on your computer. Okay. I'll just call my reading questions RQs. All right. So now when you're ready to do your questions, bam. Okay. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And everything is already formatted correctly, like I was saying. Okay. So it's just something, something you can do. Then a lot of my students will just save themselves time because, okay, they did their questions, got 100%, of course. All right. So the next week, right, when they're ready to do reading questions 2, they just get rid of all this. All right. And then when you save it, just call it something else. Now you just have, what I'm saying is you just have a template that you can keep using. All right. And then here's both of those. Okay. So if you want, you can just only do this once and then just keep using the same template. No handwritten assignments. Don't handwrite your assignments and then take a picture of it and put it in the assignment folder. Please type your work. If that's going to be an issue for you, let me know as soon as you can. Like, don't wait until Tuesday to let me know that typing is going to be an issue for you. Okay. So that's the first thing. Get your paper set up right. Okay. Get your paper set up right. And really, couple weeks from now, setting up your paper in MLA format, that should almost become like a reflex for you. Like when you get a paper open, name, instructor, name, class, and dates to the left, last name, page number on the right. Make sure you're double spaced. Make sure you're in Times New Roman. All right. And if you need some additional guidance with that, you can go back to this MLA documentations resources module. I'm going to move this closer to the top. All right. And here's a document that's just formatted. And then here's a video of me doing what I just did. All right. Now, so set your paper up right. Okay. Easy stuff, easy stuff. Setting your paper up right just comes from repetition. Okay. But first tip, or the second tip, I guess, respond to the questions completely. Answer all parts of the question. Meaning, okay, if we look at this one, oh yeah, here we go. A couple of these before have multiple parts, but why is the quote triumph of democracy over apartheid sometimes called a bloodless revolution, even though many people lost their lives? That's one part. Why does Noah call it quote perfect racism? Okay, so that's a two-part question. Make sure you respond to both parts. All right, and same thing with this one. Okay, there's a few of them actually, but just answer them to the best of your ability. And then when you see things like this, discuss means use details from the text. Okay, oh, it did have to go to three, or there were three churches. Okay, if ever was a kid, what was their significance? All right. Develop thorough responses. One word or one sentence responses will not help you build your skills. Words like discuss or explain require more in-depth responses. Okay. And then here's something for the future, right? When you go to some classes like a history class, sociology class, philosophy, psychology, classes that are not English classes, but classes where you will have to do some writing. A lot of times your exams are going to be essay exams where the teacher will tell you, hey, go to the vending machine or the bookstore and get a blue book, which is just a small notebook. All right. And most of the questions are going to begin explain or discuss or compare. All right. So when you see those words, it means that you have to provide an in-depth response. Okay. To the best of your ability. Again, I know this is the first time we're doing this, so I don't want to put too much pressure on you. Okay. Oh yeah. Here's just a logistical thing. Okay. Don't waste time typing the questions. Okay. All the questions are already typed up for you. So you don't have to type them. Okay. You have to type your responses, but don't waste time or space on your paper retyping the questions. Okay. You do not have to do that. Hey, Professor Norwood, should we retype the questions? No. Okay. Don't retype the questions. All right. But instead of retyping the question, put the question in the answer. What does that mean? Why does Trevor Noah's mother refuse to leave South Africa, even in the face of apartheid? Okay. Don't start your answer like this. Nope. Don't start like that because she. But you can start. Okay. Now, that's what I mean by putting the question in the answer. All right. So instead of starting with because, just include part of the question in your response, but don't retype the question. Don't retype the question. Trevor's mother refused to leave South Africa during apartheid because, okay, it's in the book. Okay, no spoilers. All right. Yeah, so don't retype the questions. Have I said that already? Okay. Yes, don't retype the questions. Okay, for the 400th time. All right. But here's an example. And again, these instructions are in the week 2 module. All right. Noah's mother refused to leave South Africa because, okay, because she didn't want to. Okay, don't answer like that. That's not the right answer. Okay. Format your paper properly. We talked about that. You can number or bullet your responses. That's up to you. If you want a number, it's up here. Okay, or you can do it by hand. And just after your after the period, just hit tab. All right. And then if you want to use bullets, that's up here as well. Okay. But don't put your answers in like an essay form where like every question kind of runs together. Make sure your responses are separated. All right. In fact, after this, I'll show you one from last semester. I just gotta take names off. Let me open it. So an installer. Use your own words. Use your own words. Use your own words. Use your own words. Okay. Even if you're struggling, what you don't want to do is copy from the book. Okay. Because again, like I said before, that's not going to help you build the skills that this assignment is designed to build. So don't copy straight from the book. Okay. So do not copy your responses from the text. Now, we haven't gone over MLA citation just yet. So if you want to quote some stuff, you can, but don't make your responses too quote heavy. But yeah, try to make, even if you are quoting, try to make the majority of your answers your own word. And that's a rule that also applies to essays. Even if you're asked to quote material in an essay, the majority of your work should be in your own words. Okay. If you are quoting the text, be sure to use quotation marks and a citation. Citation is just the last author's last name and page number. Okay. And this is an example. Trevor Noah and his mother had a very interesting relationship. It was almost a cat and mouse situation, or quote, Tom and Jerry, as Noah puts it. He writes. So this is a if you are quoting something, which you do not have to do for this assignment. But he writes, this is called a signal phrase. A signal phrase just, one, it lets your reader know that you're about to quote something, and two, it helps you integrate quotes into your work smoothly. All right. He writes, Trevor notes, all right. Trevor states, whatever. All right. Comma, and then quote. Okay, quote exactly how it is in the book. She was a strict disciplinarian. I was naughty as shit. All right. So, and then end quote, and then here's the last name, page number. And this, we'll talk about this in depth when we actually get closer to doing our common essay. But make sure when you're quoting something, make sure the punctuation goes outside of the parentheses here. The dogs next door, man, are going crazy. All right. Proofread. Okay, proofread. Proofread. Once you're done, okay, spend that extra time proofreading. If you're using Microsoft Word, where's this thing I'm looking for? Okay, editor. All right. You can use that. All right. I don't have any suggestions because I already used editor and I fixed everything. All right. All right. And then let me see. I don't know if you're familiar with Grammarly, but it's I'm already, let me see, I'm already signed in. So when you go to Grammarly, it's just grammarly.com, and it just takes you to, you do have to make an account for Grammarly, but it's free. They have a premium version, but the free version works just fine. All right. And Grammarly is, let's see if I can oh yeah, let's see. Let me just try something real quick. You can upload your work into Grammarly, or you can just paste. Okay, then it reads it for you, and then it just gives you suggestions. All right. So yeah, I would just invest some time in this in Grammarly. All right. And then if you really want to take it there, you can have it integrate into your email. So like if you have to send an email, Grammarly can give you some tips, or Grammarly will go over your email for you. And then it can also be integrated into Microsoft Word. So if I wanted to have Grammarly go over this, I could just click on that. Man, these dogs, it's like hot in my house, but dogs, they just be lazy like my dog. All right. So yeah, make sure you proofread your work, folks, because it's proofreading is just one of those things that if you have to write things, you should make it a practice. And many of you at some point, if not all of you, at some point, if you haven't already done this, you're either going to write a transfer essay, meaning if you want to go to a 4-year school when you leave OCC, some schools require essays as part of your application. Um, you're going to write a resume if you haven't already done that. All right, and all of you are going to update your resume when you get whatever degree you're going to get from OCC. So that's going to be part of your resume. Cover letter, right? You may have to send an email inquiry. So what I'm saying is you're going to be writing things that really can't have any mistakes. Like if your resume has a mistake, it's all bad. Okay, it's all bad. How do I know this? Because it's happened to me before. Okay, I didn't notice it till after. But now I just when I know I have to submit something where I can't have any errors, Grammarly, I often mess around with the zoom thing on the bottom so I can just, see. All right. If there's time, I may have someone else read it, somebody I trust. But yeah, make sure you're going back over your work. And it's when you're proofreading, it's really best to maybe go back over your work after you've had a minute to step away from it. Because if you're working, and then as soon as you put that final period on your paper, and then you start going back over it, maybe you're fatigued, or sometimes, and this happens when you're writing essays. Sometimes when you spend a lot of time working on something, um, your brain will say when you're reading it back, your brain will say what you meant to say instead of what's actually on the paper. So try to step away from your work for a while if you can. All right. Sometimes you are just pressing to the final moment. I totally get that. All right. So and then when you're done, make sure. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. When you're done, okay, just come right here. All right. Turn them in. Okay. And this is the same. It's very similar to what we did. When did we upload an assignment? Last Thursday. But there's just fewer steps because now you're uploading right from. All right. See, mine's already turned in. Now you're just uploading right from week 2. If you want to do it the long way, you can go into assignments. Okay. And then just do that process that we did last week. But you don't have to do that. You can just go right into the module, click on the assignment, and then here's when you're done, here's how you turn it in at the bottom. Just go upload and then find your work and then hit submit. Okay. That's in week 2. Okay. All that's in week 2. So now we have the active reading quiz. You got the reading. You got the reading questions. Okay. And again, here's the questions and here's the instructions. All right. And once I get this video uploaded, I will recap, all of this in an announcement on D2L. All right. So here's the final thing, or the final assignment. Okay. Now, you all are doing your first reading. Okay. When you finish the reading, you're going to click this Born a Crime Discussion 1. All right. Trevor Noah describes apartheid as, quote, the most advanced system of racial oppression known to man. Okay, there's a citation. Apartheid was a system of institutionalized racism that imposed strict laws to maintain a racial hierarchy with whites on top and blacks on the bottom. Okay, again, this is recent history too. This is 80s and 90s. All right, this isn't like the 1800s or the 1900s. In your post, discuss the following questions. How much did you know about apartheid before starting Born a Crime? If it's not much, then that's what it is. Okay, if you had a fleeting knowledge of it, then that's what it is. If you're well versed, then that's what it is. But just how much did you know? How much did you know, man? Okay. Like growing up in the 80s, like I heard about apartheid. Okay. Nelson Mandela. But really, it's funny, man. I'm about to date myself here, but the television show A Different World, like that was really my first introduction to apartheid, or my first in-depth introduction, because Kim had this scholarship, and she had to make a choice, man, give the scholarship back because the company had an association with apartheid. So learning can come from anywhere, is what I'm saying. Okay. So answer that. What'd you know about it? Okay. So that would probably be my response. Like I learned, or A Different World was my introduction to apartheid. All right. What was your initial response to reading about Noah's childhood experiences living under apartheid? Okay. He could only go to certain schools. His dad wasn't on the birth certificate. Okay. Couldn't really be seen in public, with his father. Right. And what we just mentioned about 3 churches, well, there was a reason there were 3 churches. All right. Why did he speak English? All right. Or not English, but why is Afrikaans? That was what I was thinking. Like, you came to this continent and instituted your language as the official language. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. Colonialism and apartheid, man, it's just interesting in all the wrong ways. All right, so think about it. Think about Trevor's lifestyle. Okay, why did he get thrown out of a car? Okay, it was like an indirect connection to apartheid with that, because the reason they were, waiting for what they were, Trevor and his mom were waiting for, um, that cab was because travel was restricted because of apartheid. Okay, and then finally, are there any similarities between apartheid and South Africa racism in the U.S.? Okay, and then same thing as we did last time. Start a new thread. Got to title this thing. Okay, you can call it I don't care what you call it, to be honest. All right, and then type your response here, and when you're done, hit post. Okay, and then you all can. I saw a few of you guys responding to each other in the intro section, so that was cool. But you can, you can respond respectfully to people. All right. So now we're up to 4 things. It seems like a lot, but the quiz and the discussion post, I don't foresee those taking too much time. Okay, and the reading. Okay, couple more things about active reading. Make sure you're giving yourself, time and space. Okay, you like, if you're busy, like with work, like family obligations, other things. My advice to you is try to schedule some time where you're going to read. It's like, okay, I know I don't have anything going on, in the mornings or in the evenings or whenever you're free. Make sure you devote that time to reading. And when you are reading, make sure you're focused. Okay, your phone's away or it's face down. The people who depend on you, tell them like, chill for a minute. I need like 30 minutes, okay, to myself. All right, to get this reading in. And really, 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, that's all it takes. Okay, if you commit to that, or it could be like multiple 20-minute sessions. All right. So maybe you read 20 minutes in the AM, 20 minutes in the PM. Okay. Or, it's a nice day. Go outside, get some reading in. But whatever you do, be focused. Be focused. Have a pen out when you read. Okay. And you can have a highlighter out if you want, but if you do have a highlighter, have a pen out too. All right. And then once you finish the reading, okay, hit that discussion post, hit those reading questions, submit, and we'll meet again Tuesday. Okay. Normally you would have a full week to get all these assignments done, but we just staggered a little bit because it's the first week of assignments. And I know I had some inquisitive stuff, but I'm gonna push that back a week. So no inquisitive stuff for this week. Oh, cool. Very good. Very good. Quiz, reading, discussion board. Oh, Kristen, reading questions. So the four assignments are do the reading, take the quiz, discussion post, and then the reading questions. Okay. But if you give me actually to tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get this video recorded, or excuse me, get this video converted and upload it, and then I will post a recap of all this in our announcements. Okay. And everything we need is in this week 2 module. Okay. I'm gonna move some stuff around so it's all together, what needs to go together. And then there's this MLA documentation resources module that shows you how to format. I'm going to move that as well. And then finally, in this D2L tutorials module, okay, if you need help getting your work uploaded, check that video out. Okay. Any final questions for me, folks? All right. If not, it's going to be nice. Take care of yourself, man. All right. Everybody's taking their masks off. Okay. I'm still wearing mine, though. Like, I'm vaccinated, but I'm still I don't know, man. I was at the gym today. I saw a bunch of people with theirs off, man. I ain't ready yet. Okay. All right. Let me